Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Off the Field Podcast. It is I, Mobilcito. To my right is our guest, Bobby Crosby.
Hello.
And last but not least, Austin Kleschka. How we doing, baby?
Doing solid, and the Dodgers have won the World Series in 2024. Mo and I knew we had to have somebody in here who has been a passionate fan his whole life, and I couldn't think of anybody better than you, Bobby.
Yeah, love the Dodgers since I was a little kid, like 2-3 years old, I guess. I mean, like the Dodgers, and then I loved them starting with Game 1 of the 1988 World Series, which I luckily went to. My dad got a hookup to buy 4 tickets at a gas station on the way to Dodger Stadium for Game 1 of the 88 World Series.
No way.
We stop at a gas station, meet up with some like friend of his or whatever who had 4 tickets. Back then they had physical tickets. You had to actually have the tickets. My dad had 4 $100 bills. Just that alone, I was like, whoa. $400 bills. Apparently we're rich. No, we were not rich. Back then that was a lot of money. And we get the 4 tickets, me, my dad, my uncle, my grandpa, and that game with Gibson's insane walk-off made me a huge fan. I was always thinking about who got that ball and how amazing would it be to get that. Whenever I think about getting a time machine, I think what I would do is go sit right where that ball's going to land and go catch that ball on the fly. That's what I want to do. I don't want to kill Hitler. That would be nice. But my number one thing would first go catch that ball, then go kill Hitler.
Where were you sitting?
I was sitting reserve level, so that big third deck, the blue seats there, reserve level above third base, 5th row, near the camera well there. So it's kind of like just beyond third base where I had a perfect view looking straight out towards that home run, just flying right out to right field right in front of me. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I want to catch that ball, and I want to catch future balls like that, which leads us to 36 years later.
Yeah.
I had me and heck of a lot of friends out in the pavilions trying to catch a similar magical home run, and then a similar magical home run happened, and unfortunately the closest people we had to it, Kinez and Fireball, were about 40 feet away. I did not get the right seats for Freddy Freeman's walk-off, but I was so very happy that he hit it.
Yeah, we were pretty split between left field and right field.
Yeah, we had a little more in left. We had 32 tickets total for softball crew people and a couple of friends and relatives in there who haven't really played. I think we had about 18 in left and 14 in right. Or actually, 2 were in the reserve level.
Yeah.
Because those were the seats that I got from the Dodgers. As a season ticket holder, they let us buy 2 extra tickets per game. And we had Minnick and Connor. If you guys watch the softball series, you'll know about them. They actually sat up in those reserve level seats. But then 30 of us were in the pavilions with a chance to get a magical walk-off grand slam, first in history.
Yeah.
A few seconds before he hit it, I turned to T-Mobile, who I was sitting with in the right field pavilion, and I said, nobody's ever hit a walk-off grand slam in any World Series game, I'm pretty sure, right? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the first one ever. And I was just so ready to catch that. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And then when he hit it, I mean, obviously you have questions ready to – you're probably planning this being a little later in the interview, in the podcast. But when he hit it, there was like a split second where I was like, please get out. And before I could even think like get out, just the please, I realized that's way gone. It's just like I had a great view. I was front row, 314, if you know Dodger Stadium, the batter's eye there in right center. I found just the perfect seats popped up. I just wanted to maximize my chance of catching World Series home run. So I didn't sit in my normal season seats in left field. That's where Benny, Lumpy, Benny's dad, and Dustin were in my normal season seats in left field. And anyway, the batter's eye there in right center, they let you can walk across that whole empty row. So I had running room of 30 feet to my right. I had front row on the aisle in 314, and then 316 for the first half of the right field pavilion is blocked off with a black tarp for the batter's eye. And so I had 25, 30 feet to my right of potential catching a World Series home run. Freddy just pulled that ball a little too much.
Halfway through the air, I knew it was gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I, as soon as I saw it, probably at its peak height, I was like, okay, it's gone. Everybody go crazy.
Yeah, and you had a great view of it. You had a great shot of it.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. And thank you for those tickets. That was
no problem.
Best game of my life. No doubt.
Which is crazy to say since you're an Angels fan,
Yeah.
obviously. If you don't care about either team and it's still saying it's the best game of your life. I mean, it's just the drama of it, the history of it. The 696 World Series games were played at that point. Now 700 have been played, 4 more since then. And that's that was the first and still the only walk-off grand slam. Mobo has hit a couple walk-off grand slams in softball.
I have, and it's still crazy to think that in all that time, it never once happened. Never once in baseball.
And all its history. Over 100 years. That's
Over
wild.
120 years. 1903, right, was the first one, and then there was 2 that were off. 1904, I think, wasn't played because one of the managers of the team that got to the World Series just decided, I don't want to play in the World Series. That's what happened for what was going to be the second World Series ever. I think it was Philadelphia. No, I forgot. Boston. I don't know. Whoever got to the World Series for, I think, the American League, the manager's like, I'm not interested in that.
What?
Yeah, look it up. That's what happened.
Wild.
I haven't read the story in 30 years, so I might be remembering wrong.
We'll do our research.
But that's 1904. I think there wasn't a World Series because the manager just said, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And then 90 years later, there was a strike. So 1994, there was no World Series. Other than that, though, since 1903, every year there's been a World Series. And a couple weeks ago, Freddie Freeman hits the first ever walk-off, and almost the entire softball crew was there for it.
Yeah.
So I decided a few days before the game, my plan was, even up to like 2 days before the game, my plan was I had 6 tickets. I had my 4 season tickets, front row and left field. I had 2 extra tickets that the Dodgers let me get purchased like a week before. And I thought, you know what? That's enough. 6. We're going to have some of the biggest Dodger fans go. Our plan was probably to have Benny go. But then Benny said, you know what? My dad really wants to go. And Lumpy really wants to go, and I don't think I can go without them because they just like feel, like, man, we really wanted to go, and you get to go, and we don't, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so you 3 are going.
Yeah.
And so that's 3. And then hardly anybody specifically asked me, which surprised me. This is such a big World Series, Dodgers, Yankees.
Yeah.
And Dustin and I can't even remember who else. Only 2 people, I think, specifically asked me.
I mean, my mindset is everybody else at softball is Dodger fans.
Oh,
so-
yeah. Like, I don't ask just because I figure everybody else is going to get the tickets before me.
Yeah.
Well,
And, there's, a
Yeah.
long list of line of just, first come, first serve, but you got to be there.
Yeah.
yeah, and especially for a World Series that, the Dodgers are in, it's like, and these tickets are, decently expensive, obviously, especially Dodgers-Yankees World Series.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people just thought, I'm not going to ask. Like, if he's going to ask me, then great, but if not, whatever. So anyway, a couple days beforehand, I'm thinking, I'm just going to have Benny, Lumpy, Benny's dad, maybe Gabe Kirsch, Javi, kind of the biggest Dodgers fans, although 2 of those people wear White Sox caps often, which is insane and pisses me off. Why did I give them tickets? Anyway, but then as hours tick by, going closer and closer to game time, at one point I just thought, screw it, every Dodger fan on the crew. I just had a feeling that one of 2 things was going to happen. Either we were going to win a huge blowout and there was going to be like 1 million home runs, and like each of us are just going to get one. The Dodgers are going to hit like 8,000 home runs in the game, and just everybody, just giving them out like candy to everybody. I kept telling people home runs they're going to be like candy in our pockets. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Yeah, pockets is like Gollum talking about, the ring in my pockets is, I don't know. And yeah, the home runs are going to be like candy in our pockets, I was saying. And I'm insane. And so I was telling people the Dodgers are going to win 27-0. Shohei's going to hit 5 home runs.
Believable.
Yeah, it's a standard Shohei performance.
Average.
And but what I was really hoping for, though, was a walk-off home run like Gibson in '88.
Yeah.
I just almost didn't even want to say it because it just felt, I just didn't want to jinx it. And 27-0 just feels like a joke, obviously. And I told people I'm not joking at all. But obviously, I was a little bit joking.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything I wanted happened except for that we didn't get the ball. But and I would have liked Shohei hitting it, but I love Freddie Freeman. It'd be a walk-off grand slam. Oh my gosh!
Especially all the previous rounds, like Kirk, him being hobbled and beaten and injured and
Just going through it.
yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah, amazing. So just to finish up that about the tickets, as the hours tick by, kind of 48 hours beforehand, I'm like, you know what? It was more like 24 hours beforehand that I'm like, every Dodger fan, I'm going to get a ticket for. And then it was the morning of the game where, and this is a 5 o'clock p.m. game, or 5:08, I think officially the start time was supposed to be 5:08 p.m. But the traffic in LA that day was nuts. There was all these events. It actually turned out not to be not quite as bad as people predicted,
No.
but
Yeah,
people
I
were
thought it was
predicting
going to be a lot worse.
People were predicting it was going to be the worst traffic day in like LA history because of all these sporting events going on and various things, concerts, I don't know, all kinds of stuff was going on. So what that means basically, if you're going to spend a lot of money on a ticket for a World Series game, you don't want anybody to show up in the 5th inning, you know?
Yeah.
So like I had to kind of decide earlier and make sure people were available to go. So I didn't sleep much the night before. I think I texted.
You texted me at like 7
a.m.
a.m. and I woke up at like 8 a.m.
Yeah. So that morning, so with like, hours to spare, I decided, screw it. Everybody's going. I just thought, I don't want anybody to miss this. And I feel like once I got to a point of inviting like half the crew, I'm like, I just got to invite the whole crew. Basically. Even if they're not Dodgers fans, like, let's just go hog wild with it.
Yeah.
I tried to get the hog wild license plate, by the way. It's not available in the state of California.
No.
Unfortunately, yeah.
You love your custom license
I
plates.
do. I have 3 right now that are pretty cool.
Is there any other ones in the works that you're thinking of?
Oh,
maybe looking into?
There's a lot. I don't want to tell people, then they're going to get them if they live in California, and then I'm screwed. So anyway, a few people couldn't go. Soup couldn't go because he had to go to Disneyland, not for work, but with his family. It's just like going to Disneyland, and then they didn't even go.
Damn.
And he was quite sad about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the people who didn't go are getting a compensation, a little, gift in lieu of not being able to go there.
Yeah.
And because I feel like, if you missed out on that, I mean, you gotta get something to feel better.
One
about
of the
life.
big ones, and I feel so bad for him because I'm not doing it, but Kershey, Dean, and all them are doing it. Ty Guy
my goodness.
wasn't able to make it.
Ty Guy one was
And-
heartbreaking.
Well, Ty Guy was one of the only ones who wasn't officially invited.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew he had to coach Rally
The Rally
Fries
Fries, yeah.
practice, and I just wanted to make sure that his standing with Rally Fries was just as high as possible. Everything stayed good there, so I didn't even want to give him the opportunity to like skip out on practice to go to the game, so I didn't even ask him.
Yeah, I back off on it every time, and he's like, dude, that was the best game ever. And I'm like, no. Yeah.
It was okay, like just some
But
things
Kershey and Dean are like, hey, dude, look at my angle that I got at the...
Dean switching up every single inning out of nowhere. Dude, look at this shot that I got.
Well, he's not even. Dean's a Tatis fan, a Padres fan.
Dean is a melting pot of fan bases.
Yeah, which is fine. We love Dean. Dean's awesome.
Dean's an athlete.
Dean is an athlete.
He's an athlete.
It's no matter what, you have to just describe him as an athlete because that's what he is.
I forgot if someone sent it to me or if I looked at it on a softball video. Somebody commented, you can't be an athlete if you wear pajama pants in a softball
I saw that, but that's wrong. Of course you can. That makes you more of an athlete if you can do that.
half this generation wears pajama pants.
I think
to
half
like
the
everything.
people at softball have worn pajama pants at one point playing. I know you've done it a couple times.
I've done it.
I've done it for Halloween.
I did it for Christmas.
Or not Halloween,
Early
Christmas,
days, I had
Christmas.
these Christmassy red or green pajama pants that
Yeah.
I wore to some early Christmas 2015-16 softball
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, I went to go get Blaze Pizza the other day, and there was a kid in there, probably 19, in pajama pants.
Yeah. I'd call it the second best game ever, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Gibson's still number 1 for me.
Okay.
The drama. I mean, yeah, Freddy was hurt, but he was like 90% by game 1 of the World Series.
Yeah.
Gibson was like 30%.
Where would you say Joe Carter compares?
Well, in terms of games I've ever been to,
Yeah.
it's my second best game is the Freddie Freeman
Yeah.
game 1. First game being Gibson. In terms of, I was telling somebody this yesterday, maybe T-Mobile, and this, if I thought about this longer and really did some research, looked this up more, I might change it. But currently in my head, top 3 World Series games of all time, not counting even my Dodger fandom, although obviously will bias this a little
just on
bit.
the scale
But
of
even
all
just
the
as a
games.
baseball fan, if I try to be neutral, in my opinion right now, top 3 World Series games of all time. Number 1, 1988 World Series Game 1, Kirk Gibson. Number 2, Joe Carter's walk-off. 93 World Series Game 6. Number 3, Freddie Freeman. Grand Slam, Game 1, 2024. Some people might scoff at that and have some other opinions, but I mean, that's just what I think.
I think it's hard when things are recent because everyone's going to say, oh, like recency bias.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Like, I think when we get like 100 years into the future, that game is still going to be talked about as like one of the best World Series games.
Yeah. Well, it's not just recency bias. It's also technology bias, meaning 1960, Mazeroski's walk-off home run in Game 7. Obviously sounds like it's almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
And I haven't even read a whole lot about that. But the thing is, there's like one grainy like angle of it.
Yeah.
That, black and white, and I don't know. I just don't know enough about that series to really give a proper opinion. It was Pirates beating Yankees, right? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
1960.
Maybe.
I used to know as a kid. I
think I know the snippet of video that you're talking about because I think they might have used it in an MLB The Show opening.
Probably.
I think they used it in 2017.
Probably.
If I remember
Sounds
correctly.
right. Yeah. So anyway, Game 7.
Yankees.
1960
You were right.
Yankees. Yeah. Where they win like 10-9 or 9-8
In the final game.
Yeah, Game 7. 'Cause they were tied, and the Joe Carter's is the only one to end a World Series where they were behind. Because there's only been 2 home runs to end a World Series. Only 2 walk-off home runs ended a World Series. The final game. Joe Carter and Bill Mazeroski.
Yeah, 10-9. You
10
were
to
right.
9.
Yeah.
Okay, so my memory's still not too bad on that account.
Very sharp as a whistle.
We're watching a football game right now, by the way. It's hard to. I'm talking about baseball. We should just have like highlights of Freddie Freeman going on. Got a TV here in front of us.
Well, at least let me ask you this: after Game 1 and Game 2, did you at any point think of just taking off to New York to see?
Oh yeah, I almost did. Yeah. I came very close, really close, like almost hitting the button.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you looking at like
surprised
just the
you weren't
checkout,
there.
just salivating like?
Yeah, I love walk-offs. Okay,
Yeah.
I love walk-offs.
Walk-off dance-off.
A walk-off dance-off. So like, I mean, you go back to every softball game where I'm a captain, basically. We used to have a league at some point early on in softball. Team Bobby bats last. Why? Because I love walk-offs. Because I want to hit a walk-off, and what I've hit one ever, and it was a
Down the
walk-off
third baseline.
error down the third baseline. Shortsy, I think, made the error.
E5.
E5, of course. That was back when he made errors. He's actually our best defensive player ever, by the way. But early on, he made a lot of errors, and that kind of just stuck in his reputation. But
it's the glove. Before because
was
he's got one of the longest gloves now.
What's his, like 14 and a half or 14?
I think it's 14.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, so no, his defense sucked early on heavily because of what glove he was using, and he just, just took a while for him to get used to softball and everything.
Yeah.
But no, he's had the best defense. But anyway, long story short, not to get distracted, I love walk-offs. So that's one reason why I didn't go to New York is because, well, I'm going to go there and spend all this money, and then I don't even have a chance of getting a Dodgers walk-off. It's just like, I want to see the Dodgers win the World Series. But I'm in 2020. I was there for Game 6 in Texas, and that was just weird because there was 10,000 people there.
Didn't feel.
No, it
that
felt like
special.
a spring training game, basically.
I was going to
Damn.
say, if you don't mind me asking, was it like every third row there'd be a group of people? Or would it be like 5 seats away from you?
It was just kind of spread out. It wasn't really like in every third row, but it's like I had an amazing chance to get a
home run in
potentially
general.
walk-off home run because the Dodgers were the home team for Game 6, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So weird to think, were they the home team? Because you normally just see, what stadium were you at? But
Yeah.
everybody played in the same stadium for the playoffs, or most
Yeah.
of the playoffs, and in Texas there in 2020 because of COVID stuff. And anyway, I had 30 feet to my left until the bullpen in Texas for Game 6, and Mookie almost hit me the last run of
That World
Game
Series.
6. He had a home run in the bullpen. I go running. I run out of room because I hit the bullpen, and then you see me on, if you go look it up, Mookie Betts home run 2020 Game 6, 8th inning. That was the crazy Blake Snell game, of course, where he should have been left in.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was just madness. So anyway, you'll see me run out of room. I'm wearing the old Superman
Camo.
The blue and the green.
Yeah.
green
Blue and
Superman.
blue Superman jacket. And anyway, so I run out of room. He hit it about 15 feet too far towards center. And then T-Mobile, you can't see him, but I went with T-Mobile and Benny, and he was coming back from the bathroom, and he actually was closer to me.
Benny was coming back.
No,
from the
T-Mobile
bathroom?
was. And T-Mobile sees it as he's like coming back, and then he was in the back of the bullpen. So you can't see him because it's kind of dark there. But he was at the back of the bullpen behind the home run. We were like surrounding it, but he just didn't hit us. That would have been cool to get that ball. But yeah, the World Series was weird with spread out seating, and we almost had to fake acting as if we were insanely happy we won the World Series. It just didn't feel. I mean, it felt right to some degree, but not like it should. It felt like 60% of what it should have felt like.
Yeah.
But we had to act 100% just because, like, I mean, we're here.
Yeah.
Like we just won the
We
World
made it.
Series, right?
Yeah.
So, but it didn't feel real. But 2024 felt real, but I wasn't there for it for Game 5, obviously, in New York. I almost went. It just, I got to the point where I'd looked up everything. Hotels, flights. The flights were going to be the most expensive thing. Because luckily for me, I love sitting in outfield home run seats.
Yeah.
Not too many other people do, apparently. I don't understand it, but it makes it so they're cheaper, actually, for me. Like back in the day in 1997, when I got season tickets in the left field pavilion, I had my choice of any seats in the entire left field pavilion for season tickets, except for the first 2 rows by the Dodgers bullpen in 301. Those first 2 rows, there are only 8 seats each in that short section of 301. Those 2 rows were owned by one family. And I don't think they had them for too long after that. I never really got to know them. But they had those 2 seats, rows of 16 seats. And I had my choice of any other seat. And you know the cost?
What year was it you said?
So 1997. Take a guess per ticket per game. So per ticket.
Go first, Austin.
Per ticket per game. How much was each ticket? Each individual ticket. 1997. Season tickets front row. Left field pavilion.
$15.
$6.
What?
I paid.
I was gonna say 20.
So
no
look,
way.
6 times 81 regular season games. $486 per ticket per season. Front row on the aisle.
God.
That's how cheap it was. Now it's like 10 times that, which is still, I think, cheaper than they should be based on a lot of things. But anyway, like if you're looking at the Yankee Stadium for games 4 and 5. Because I told people if the Dodgers won Game 3, I was like 60% going for 4 and 5. I wasn't going to go like if we lost Game 3 and won Game 4 and we're up 3-1. I wasn't going to go for like one game. I wanted to go for give myself 2 chances at winning it. Yeah. Just because I like hate flights. I don't want to do 2 cross-country flights there and back just for one shot at winning it.
I agree.
Yeah, I was like, no, thank you. So I looked it all up with the flights and, so the tickets. Right field pavilion, or not pavilion, the Yankee Stadium, but like right field seats, left field seats, center field. There were some decent options, like 3rd row on the aisle. There wasn't really anything like too perfect of like front row and like right for like Shohei. But there was pretty close. Like there was like 2nd, 3rd row aisle for not a ton of money.
Yeah.
I was looking at some actually right for Game 5 actually, right down the right field foul pole. Just in fair territory, sort of front row, but it kind of juts out. It's like behind. There's like a cameraman station there, right by the right field foul pole. I was so into looking up possibly going that I was watching highlights of every Yankee home run from this year on like YouTube to find shots close up of right where my possible seats were going to be. Yeah. So, no, I was just trying to find those specific seats I was interested in to see like if there was a camera, like what those seats are like to see are those okay seats. Is the foul pole like really blocking the view too much? And anyway, the ones I was interested in, I saw, there's a cameraman position right there. Maybe this is one reason why these are going cheaper. Anyway, those were like going to be like $1,500 each. For 3 seats right there, essentially front row. But then I look up those videos and I see a cameraman station right there. And then I looked up Game 3 footage because this is right after Game 3 when I was considering going. So I just rewound, my Fox, YouTube TV and saw, there's a big old camera guy right there blocking your way. So they'd have to homer like right above the cameraman to catch that. And the view's not good with the foul pole right there. Kind of. Anyway, long story short, almost went, decided not to go. It was a close call. Like I added it all up like to the dollar basically. Okay, if they win Game 4, it's going to cost me this much. Because I was probably going to take Gabe and Benny.
Okay.
Because I kind of told them beforehand, like if I go, I'm gonna take like each of them individually, and then I kind of regretted that. I was like, man, because then when I saw like the cost of the plane flights and everything, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be wild. So I had it all down to like the dollar of if they win 4, I save this much because I don't have to buy the tickets for Game 5 or I get the refund or whatever. And,
that was the same with Art because if it would have came back for Game 6, Art was like, I will find a way. I'm affirming this somehow. And then
he's going to be in that stadium one way or another.
He told Gabe, he's like, if they win today, I'm paying you $50 because it's either $50 or $1,200. And they won, so he was like, here, $50.
Crazy. So, that was another factor because I had just obviously spent a lot on Game 1. And then let's say I go to New York and we lose both games. Then I already told a lot of people, like, I'm giving them Game 6 or 7. People, like a few people couldn't go to Game 1 and even some people who did, but who I had told, like, hey, if we clinch at home, you're going to be with me, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like Gabe, Kirsch, Javi, and Benny. Basically, like I knew if we had a chance to clinch at home, like I had to be with them. So.
I was telling this to Art. I hate how almost every World Series ends with the team winning on the road.
I mean, just random happenstance how that works. I mean, Game 6 would have been cool. I had already, during Game 5 and just before Game 5, I bought a bunch of tickets for Game 6 and 7.
Oh, really?
So I still got to get the refunds from SeatGeek and StubHub.
Yeah. You know them; they'll take 2 to 3 weeks, but they'll take your money like that.
I know. I had to do a VIP concierge phone call with SeatGeek.
Oh my God!
To get the refund instead of getting a 110% site credit.
Yeah.
But that only you only have 12 months to spend it. I actually considered it, but that means Dodgers have to go to the World Series next year for me to want to spend that much money on SeatGeek in the next year. Yeah, so like if it didn't work out, the Dodgers didn't go to the World Series, and I had that credit, I just have to like buy a few Super Bowl tickets last minute, basically in late October next year after the Dodgers don't make it to the World Series or whatever. Yeah. In order to use that credit. Anyway, but it all worked out. Getting the refund at some point in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, because after I told them that when they went on the road, I was like, I can't. The last World Series that was won at home was the Astros in 2022.
Huh. Okay.
And then,
that's only 2 years ago.
Yeah, but then after that, I can't think of one. I was trying to remember what the last one. I mean, like I said, you can kind of count the Dodgers, but not really. And like almost every World Series has been ending on the road. And
obviously 2017, the Dodgers did not win that one.
Was it the Red Sox in 2013? The last time the team won it at home?
They
really got to go that far back?
I think so, because 14, the Giants won it at
the Royals, yes.
And then the Royals won it at Citi Field.
And then 16, Cubs won it in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Astros in LA. Red Sox in LA.
Yeah.
Nationals in Houston. So
damn.
Yeah.
Braves
in Houston.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So only one out of the last 10 or no, one out of the last 11 years?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The home team went at home. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I have not got to experience the Angels in playoffs. When they were making the playoffs every year, I was a child. I couldn't afford going to playoffs. And that last year we went, I was like, oh, we got Mike Trout. We had the best record. We're going to be there easily.
2014?
Yeah. And I was like, man, now looking at it, I'm like, whenever we make playoffs, hopefully before I go under, my worst fear is spending all that money just to see an L. I'd be so mad.
Then you got to specify playoffs compared to World Series.
Yeah,
because playoffs can actually be pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, it was a huge skyrocket from like the first rounds to World Series.
Oh yeah, sometimes the League Championship Series is actually cheaper than the Division Series.
Really?
Yeah, well, especially because sometimes you get the day games, the weird day games.
Yeah.
So you can go for like cheap.
Yeah.
NLCS sometimes, and I assume LCS. If you get a Tuesday 1 p.m. game, last minute, you're going to pay $38 to get in, basically. I mean, sometimes you go like Dugout Club for like $200.
Oh, my God.
NLCS because last minute.
Yeah.
Because just nobody wants to go to a 1 p.m. weekday game.
When those prices come out, I will be there. Trust me.
Yes.
So where were you, Bobby, when they won it all?
I was just at home. In my apartment in Pasadena, and just watching on TV, and literally I was finalizing I was going to do a giveaway for Game 6, somewhat inspired by Chelsea Freeman and Freddy Freeman doing a giveaway for World Series tickets. So I started writing up this giveaway text and making a little image to post on Instagram, and I was going to add it to the Halloween special softball video, which was going to go up the next morning. I was editing that video, and I was going to add some text saying, in order to enter this World Series ticket giveaway, go to my Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so I just finalized like the image I was going to post and all the text I was going to go along with it, and then we won. So that was all a waste of time. Giveaway stuff next year. I should have thought of it for Game 1, I guess. I was already going 32 tickets. Why not 33 or 34 to do a giveaway? But I just didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Because that sure was quite a giveaway. They each added like like 300,000 followers, I think, Chelsea Freeman.
Yeah, for doing that.
Now, obviously, Freddy heavily added the followers because he was homering in every game in the World Series, including the walk-off Grand Slam. And that, of course, helps Chelsea, too. But that giveaway had a crazy amount of, like, shares and likes and everything. So I thought, I mean, why not? Let's help somebody out.
Let's try it.
Send somebody to Game 6, you know, the viewer of the videos. Yes.
You are part of a group of people that was at Kirk's homer and Freeman's homer.
Yes.
So how wild was Kirk's? Because we know how Freeman's was. We were there.
Yeah.
How wild was that one compared?
So I was only 7, so it's hard for me to remember. I mostly remember just my dad. I remember him telling me minutes beforehand. He's like, it's never over till it's over. And I just remember staying there for so long after, and the cheers lasting for 30 minutes, just lasting for ages.
Yeah.
But in terms of wildness, even though I was there, I was only 7, so it's hard for me to really remember exactly. But I know that the cheering didn't stop. Like, I remember just the loudness in my ear for 30 minutes after.
That's crazy.
And then it finally started to die down, and I think my dad was like, all right, I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
I don't think they had to kick us out. They had to kick me out. They had to kick us out.
They do that all the time now.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I've noticed the pattern in Dodger Stadium. If you're in the pavilion, they kick you out of the pavilion, and then they're kind of cool with you being by like the bar by the stairs, and then after a few more minutes, they're like, okay, now you got to go down there, and then they'll let you chill by like the gate in the bar right there, probably for like another 30, 40. And then once you're past that gate, they don't care what you do.
I never stay that late. I usually, right when the game ends, I try to beat the traffic and get out immediately. I don't stay after. But, of course, for a walk-off Grand Slam, the only one in World Series history, and you got 32 buddies there, you stay as long as possible, take photos. I wish more of us could have got in the same spot to take a better group photo. But we were kind of spread out. Some people left. Benny and Lumpy and his dad had to go.
It sounds like we got the full story on that, by the way, because remember, me and you were like, did Benny leave? Like, where is he?
He sure didn't want to leave. They were there, but they were in the restroom.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Lumpy had some issues. And
heartbreaking.
Yeah, Benny was quite frustrated by that. But he also thinks it's kind of cool because it's, they heard it was like an earthquake. They were in the restroom. Lumpy had to go.
Yeah.
And then the Grand Slam happened, and the world shook.
Yeah.
And Benny realized what happened.
Yeah.
He knew it had to be the Grand Slam. And he's like, we got to go. And so they left the bathroom maybe earlier than they should have, and met up with the grandpa, Lumpy's grandpa, and then they got out of there. I think they celebrated a little bit with some softball people, but they mostly just got out. And then by the time, then I gathered people in right field.
Yeah.
I ran up to so I was in front row. And right, we're kind of spread out. We either had front row or row N in the pavilions. Row N is the first row of the second section, which I love because 2 reasons. One, super easy to get in and out of the seats. There's no rail in front of you or any row in front of you. It's just a walkway. So I love row N. I've loved that for ages. Second reason why row N is good is because you have all the running room to try to catch a home. You get to run the whole length of the pavilion. And World Series is kind of easier to catch a homer, in my opinion. Not that I've ever done it, but I want to do it very badly. But it's easier because it's mostly rich morons there. It's people who often don't care about baseball that much. I mean, there's obviously exceptions, lots of exceptions, but I'm saying overall percentage-wise, as opposed to just big fans of the game who like want to catch homers and just have fun and love baseball, it's more some muckety-mucks.
A lot of rich Andys.
Exactly, and their gold houses, wearing their gold shoes.
I was gonna say no. I can attest to that and your whole concept behind it because the entire game, Dean is barking at Austin like, "I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna catch a ball. I'm gonna truck down anybody who stands in front of my way."
Wait, I'm an idiot. So I just realized how dumb I am.
Why?
So I'm a moron.
What?
So when I got those seats, the 2 seats right there that I said, and right by the batter's eye, front row there where I got that running room, what I wanted specifically, I even talked about wanting a football player. Because Dean is a football player. I said, I need a bodyguard who's going to hold off other Ballhawks from me catching the homer down there. And T-Mobile's strong, but he's not Dean.
Yeah.
All right. At first, I almost had Javi do that job. And then Javi's like, don't worry, I'm going to bulk up in the next week.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you know what? I already have T-Mobile. T-Mobile's good.
Yeah.
But I didn't invite Dean until like 5 hours before the game.
Yeah.
Dean was one of the last ones to get a ticket. He's one of the last people on the crew, and he's a Tatis fan who hates the Dodgers, basically. He's a
Dean is Also a college safety, by the way.
Right, incredibly strong. Like, he's an athlete, he says, if you watch the softball videos, and he is an athlete, and he is strong. And I actually... It's actually smart of me to not have him there next to me because he might have accidentally killed somebody or something. Because he would have taken that job. Oh, you want me to beat somebody up? I'm on it.
I'll go right through him.
Boss headed your way, boss.
Yeah, no, love Dean, but yeah, that actually that would have put him in a scary spot if a home run actually came our way because he would have just lit somebody up.
Yeah, even the toss-ups. Like anytime there was one toss near us, he would run. And he's like, I almost had that.
See, so I don't give a crap about toss-ups. I used to a little bit, when I was a kid and everything. But in the last, 15 years or so, I don't. I only care about. I mean, batting practice home runs are obviously fun, and you want to catch them. But what really matters is just catching a game homer on the fly.
Yeah.
Even after a game homer lands, it's I don't really care much about picking it up. For me, it's about the insane joy of catching a game home run on the fly. It's where you feel like you're part of the game.
Yeah, that's the only thing for me now. I've got a foul ball. I've got a toss-up. If those come towards me now, I'm kind of eh. But game home run,
Game home run, you want to catch that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, oh.
And there could be a 3-year-old looking at me with puppy dog eyes. And it'd be like, it's my first one, buddy. Sorry.
Well, no, so I don't really care about the ball. Yeah. I care about the moment of the catch and, the video. Yeah. I want to have that video, meaning any video, like the TV footage of the catch, and then the ball itself. I don't even care much about the game home run ball anymore. If I got a Shohei's first World Series home run is probably gonna happen next year, 5 times. If I get Shohei's first World Series home run, I'm just gonna give it back. But I need to shake his hand though. To give it to him. There's no way I'm just going to give it to some Dodger employee and say, give this a Shohei.
Yeah. Make sure he gets it.
No, screw that. No, got to shake his hand, give it to him, say, I love you, Shohei.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dean would have lit somebody up. So I'm glad I had T-Mobile there. It's funny. So I'm in the restroom pregame, 10 minutes before the game, and T-Mobile texts me and says oh no, a Ballhawk just showed up, second row right behind you, and he's already practicing his move to go into the front row of 316 by the tarp there. And I'm like, oh. So that guy ended up being really cool, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's really nice. I mean, he was clearly he was going to be competition. If there was a home run that went in the middle of that row, I don't know what would have happened.
Have you seen? I don't even know this guy's name, but I've seen him at a few games. The guy that he has a bandana, like a biker's T-shirt, like a bicyclist. And he's got a glove, and he gets baseball ready with the outfielders.
What?
So he'll be like, and I'm like, dude, you are not on the field.
I have not noticed that, but that sounds fun. No, I mean, some people are crazy out there. They wear knee pads.
Oh yeah,
for diving.
Yeah,
for toss-ups.
I was gonna say you've probably seen it all. Throughout the years of you.
Yeah,
doing
I haven't gone to a whole lot of games recently as much as I used to. I used to go to a million games. I used to go to almost every game.
Well, I'm pretty sure back then you've seen somebody just absolutely eat it.
Oh well,
going
of
down
course.
I still remember the clip where you're like, "Watch out!"
Guy
and somebody gets
heads up. Yeah, near the left field foul pole, a guy got nailed in the head. Luckily, he was okay.
Yeah.
I found out on Reddit afterwards, somebody, I'm a buddy of his, and he's okay. But somehow he didn't even hit the ground. But I mean, he took a Wanaribe, I think it was Wanaribe, absolute bullet of a line.
He took it off the dome and was I'm okay.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. And he didn't even fall down. He just kind of buckled over a little bit and just held his head and just dazed. And he should have. I'm amazed he lived when I saw. So I knew somebody, I can't remember who. It's on the Giants, I think, right? Uribe was a Giant at the time, I think. Anyway, somebody was deciding who am I going to toss this ball to in batting practice, some pitcher for the Giants or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't do that when some of these, Major League Baseball players, great athletes, usually nice guys, not always the sharpest tools in the shed in certain situations where if you've got a very strong right-handed hitter up, you can't be taking your time to decide who to throw a ball to and taunting them who wants it by the left field foul pole when you got a big righty up. No, because then a line drive's going to come and they're all distracted and it's going to hit them in the head. You got to be a little more cognizant of the situation. And anyway, that was the situation, and a line drive went towards the left field foul pole, and I yelled top of my lungs, and that's loud. I can yell. And back then I yelled really loud, even more than now. I yelled, heads up. And then just boom, it just hits this guy in the head just out of nowhere like a bullet, basically.
Yeah, you got to be full awareness in BP. Even when fans will come up to me, I'm always like looking at the batter, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Yeah. And then because we have that 5-second gap between the next pitch or something like that.
Well, we felt it firsthand Houston.
Oh yeah,
remember that was dude, legit, Bobby. The exact way that you were describing it, trying to figure out who to throw it to. In the time it barely pops up, you see in Austin's video, boom.
Oh yeah, it goes between me and you.
Legit, we're looking at it. As I turn to the right, the ball just whizzes by me.
Yeah,
and then Shorty behind me is telling me if you were like a foot in front of me. I think you would have gotten smacked, and I'm like, well,
you guys got lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky.
So here's a big tip, by the way. If you're ever going to batting practice in the future, I have a million of these safety tips for BP. I had made a whole video about it 15 years ago called Batting Practice Safety Tips. I'm not sure if that's still currently up on YouTube. I don't think it is. But here's what you do. Here's the most important time for safety. It's the second or third of back-to-back home runs. Yeah. Okay, because everyone's watching the first one land, and they don't notice the second one coming right at their face. So that's the most important time. When you see one home run go, don't focus on watching that land unless you're going to catch it yourself. You know, don't try to watch that one land and listen for the next hit and then look. It's the second of back-to-back or the third or fourth of back-to-back-to-back. Those are the most dangerous of all. Watch out for those. That's where you get. Yeah. That's where people get hurt the most.
Some of my thoughts I wanted to give on the whole Benny Lumpy bathroom thing. If I had a kid and it was that situation, I think I might have said, "You're gonna poop your pants right now."
Yeah,
yeah. It'll be. Yeah.
I would have called the security over in right before he throws a pitch. I would have been like, "Yo, take him, just take him."
It was tricky. I think I'm not certain of this, but I think there's actually a chance because Lumpy's 10 now.
Yeah,
and
it was funny too.
Almost 11
because before the game, Fernando and I ran into Lumpy by himself.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. So I think Lumpy actually went to the bathroom by himself in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Or top 10 and Benny waited 15 seconds and he was like, wait a minute. He was like, if this game ends in walk-off fashion, it's going to be chaos. Everything's going to be going nuts.
Yeah.
And I cannot let him be alone. What if we get separated? So then he ran after him and got up to him.
Yeah.
I guess this was actually middle 10 or no, I think it was actually bottom. It was actually 3-4 minutes before the Grand Slam, I think. So
yeah.
It was, so it was a good thing that Benny went with Lumpy, but that means he missed out on seeing the Grand Slam.
If I knew, because he had to have gone with the bases loaded, right? Because there was a pitching change.
I don't remember the exact timing. But, who knows how long it took in there. We don't want to get too many details of how bodily fluids work. But,
I think I would have just had to have sat there and been like, hey, you can change when you get home.
Well, that's what
he should have looked at Lumpy and been like, hey, good thing we're at the team store because you can just buy new pants right
here. Yeah. So first Benny's dad, I guess, went to the bathroom an inning earlier, and Benny specifically said, you should go with him. You have to go to the bathroom. And Lumpy's like, no, I'm good. 20 minutes earlier. And then when Benny's dad came back from the bathroom, he decided to stay halfway up the pavilion. He's like, I like it here. He just maybe just the running room or just maybe felt we're going to lose possibly and wanted to get out quicker. He'd have to wait for Benny and Lumpy anyway, so that doesn't really make sense. I think he just kind of liked the vibe up there halfway up.
Chill for a second.
Yeah, so he gave a look down to Benny. Benny was down the front row, and Benny's dad gave a look like, I'm just going to stay here. But then Lumpy wanted to go stand with him.
Yeah.
So then Lumpy went on his own to stand with his grandpa.
Yeah.
And then Benny thought about it for a second. Said, I don't want to be by myself. Dustin was there too, but it's not by himself. But he doesn't want to leave his family and separated during a potential amazing ending to the game or whatever. So then he went up to be halfway. And then Lumpy's like, I got to go to the bathroom. You just had that opportunity 15 minutes ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that makes me think, by the way, about Dustin he was the only one in my seats when the Grand Slam happened. He's also the only one who I found from looking at over 1,000 photos of that game on Getty Images.
Oh, yeah.
Where I got a clear shot that's actually kind of a cool shot where you can basically tell it's one of our crew members in the background of Freddy's Grand Slam. It's when Freddy's rounding second base.
Yeah.
And you can see my seats in the background. You can tell that's clearly Dustin. You can't recognize his face or anything. It's very far away and a little bit blurry, but it's obvious it's him based on where it is. So I showed him that last night. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's me. And then we're looking for some other people, but it's so hard to tell. It's kind of blurry up there. And, yeah, I was hoping out of over 1,000 photos on Getty Images, and about 600 of them are from the walk-off Grand Slam, basically, that there's got to be something where in the background you can clearly see me or T-Mobile or Kershey or Gabe or anybody, and there's just nothing, basically. Just kind of unlucky there.
Yeah.
I was hoping it'd be an amazing thing to frame up, to get framed, blown up huge.
Yeah, I remember when we ran into Lumpy by himself, Fernando's like, you can just walk around by yourself now? And he looks at Fernando like, yeah.
I'm Lumpy.
We're like, dude, you're like 10.
Yeah, well, he's almost 11. He's almost 11, the little lumpster.
Yeah, almost there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
From what I first met him when he was like, what, 3, 4?
Yeah.
Insane. So, Bobby, the Dodgers have been a playoff team for many years now. A lot of playoffs and World Series that could have happened, and a lot of players that have cycled through. If you could pick 3 former Dodgers that could have been on this team to get a ring, who would you want on that team?
So, of like any year, basically?
Any year. Like, I know a lot of the kids are saying, like, Ethier, Matt Kemp, like all them.
Who would be your 3?
No, I'm going Joe Beimel. I was a big fan of Joe Beimel. A lot of you have never heard of Joe Beimel. Look up Joe Beimel. Cool guy. He runs his own, Beimel Elite Athletics now. Strength training, it's like to increase your arm speed, on pitching.
Yeah.
Increase your miles per hour and just get strong and healthy. It seems like a pretty cool place. I've even slightly considered like going there to make my fastball go from 53 miles an hour to like 59 miles an hour. I think that would be helpful in my life. But
I think you better just train for the full 90. Stop, don't pussyfoot and just
there's zero chance of that happening. But you guys will see at some point a softball video. Game 2 of the off-season softball series, our 10th off-season. Game 1 was Halloween, about a week ago. Game 2, I hit a ball, I believe 83 miles an hour exit velocity, which for me is a record. Just a guess, but I hit it to right field and I crushed it. Anyway, to answer your question, I always get distracted, and I'm a horrible storyteller. I don't know how I have done the things I've done in my life with being this bad of a storyteller. But anyway, Joe Beimel.
And he's the whole reason you like 97, right?
Well, and my first year with season tickets was 97, so that's kind of like I kind of like that number for that too. But Beimel wore 97, and that's why I like 97 heavily, and also season tickets. Yeah. So anyway, Joe Beimel. My next thought was Mike Piazza, but he said something bad about Vince Scully at one point. Or so screw him actually. But I was a big fan of his for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do this. Joe Beimel. Let's go. Okay, so I was thinking about some players from the 80s, but they actually got to experience 88 World Series. They won a ring.
Yeah.
So we're going to go Eric Karros.
Okay.
Eric Karros, Joe Beimel, and Chad Fonville.
Chad Fonville?
I've heard you drop that name before.
Why does that sound like a created like the show character?
No, he's real. He's a real human being. I'm pretty sure he's still alive even. I hope. Chad.
Will he make an appearance on softball with us?
He'll probably play second base for us at some point.
When did he play?
Like late 90s.
Okay.
He didn't play much.
Yeah.
His name's Chad Fonville. He didn't get a lot of playing time. No, he was cool. He had a great smile. He was a short guy, which means about my height, because for athletes, I'm like 5'9.5". I like to tell myself 5'10", but really I'm like 5'9.25" probably. He was probably like 5'8". Let's look up Chad Fonville's height.
Okay.
Pull it up right
yeah,
Chad
great
Fonville
smile.
height.
Chad Fonville, a nice guy.
5'6".
5'6". There you go.
Oh, so he's like around Altuve's height.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a nicer person than Altuve, though, I think.
Yeah.
A lot nicer.
He also didn't do some of the things Altuve did.
No. Well, that's why he didn't get as far in life.
Yeah.
I mean, Altuve, cheaters prosper.
Cheater, winner, I guess.
Some people claim Altuve never cheated, and they might be right, but I doubt it.
And another big thing that was happening during the World Series was musical guests to open the games.
Yeah.
For the Dodgers, Ice Cube. For the Yankees, Fat Joe.
Fat Joe.
So, say the Dodgers go to another World Series. If you had to pick an artist to open the World Series for the Dodgers, who would you want?
Let's go Sabrina Carpenter.
Really?
Oh. Yeah.
Is she your new Taylor Swift? Because I remember back in the day, you loved Taylor Swift.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're buddies, right? They tour together. Yeah. No, Sabrina Carpenter's pretty cool. I just listened to her new album, which came out, I guess, 3 months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'd heard some of the singles on the radio, and then I heard the whole album recently, and there's some, bangers on there, as they say. Slim Pickens is a good song. She really hates men because none of them are good enough for her.
I think that's
she's that good.
According to her, and she's probably right. Yeah. If you listen to that album, basically just says, men are the worst. Why do I like them? I wish I liked women. That's the whole album, and it's pretty good stuff. It's
riveting stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at that.
But I'm also a big fan of Olivia Rodrigo, and they were kind of
I was
enemies.
about to say that's Olivia Rodrigo's music too.
Yeah, Olivia Rodrigo's music is more sad whining, but in a good way, though, usually. Like, she's got some amazing songs, a couple amazing songs.
You got some favorites, Bobby?
Making the Bed is my favorite Olivia Rodrigo song that isn't like a big hit off the new album. That's my second favorite song from the album after Vampire. I mean, nothing beats Vampire for that album. And, of course, Driver's License is the best off the first album.
I love Happier. That's a good one.
I haven't heard the whole first album of Olivia Rodrigo.
That's the one where she has all the stuff on her face, right?
It was Sour?
Sour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I haven't heard that whole album.
Yeah.
Have you heard Jealousy?
I don't know. If I have, I didn't like it.
That's not a bad song either.
I know the second album a little better. And I mostly just know Sabrina Carpenter's new album. I don't usually listen to whole albums.
Yeah.
I'm mostly
Neither
just
do
a
I.
radio guy. I just hear whatever is hit on the
Same.
radio. But yeah, Sabrina Carpenter, I like her music lately.
Yeah.
Please, Please, Please. Great song. That's a big hit.
I think Shortsy loves that song too.
Well, everybody loves that song. You got to like that song. Yeah, don't embarrass me, mother effer.
So we played a game with Ty Guy a couple episodes ago, MLB Color Swap. And I have 3 of these right now where we just took 2 MLB teams and we swapped their colors. And I'll send them to both you, and I want your opinion on which one you like better.
Okay, that's pretty simple.
This first one is the one Mobo wanted. It is the Rockies and the Angels. Sent it on Instagram.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Whoa. I definitely like the purple Angels logo.
Right?
best.
It's different.
It
looks crazy.
The Rockies red is just kind of boring.
Yeah.
But the purple, as a little kid, I love the color purple. Not the movie, but the color purple. So much that that movie is wild, by the way. The original color purple, and then the new one, I didn't like it very much.
I think I've seen the original once.
The original.
My mom had forced me to watch it when I was like a kid.
Ooh, that is not a movie for kids. Oh my god!
If you're a kid, do not watch it.
In school, didn't some schools play the Boy in the Striped Pajamas?
Yeah.
So
So my school was about to show that, and then they took it down because of that same reason.
Yeah. So anyway, the '80s color purple, not a big fan. That just painful. Yeah. And then the new one, I didn't like much either. I saw that in the theater last year. Not a big fan. Anyway, as a kid though, I loved the color purple so much that we had this old TV where you can actually just turn a dial to like change the color scheme of like the TV.
No way.
And I made everything purple. That's how much I love purple. I'm watching like a Dodger game and the grass is purple, and all the players are purple, and the bat is purple, and everything's purple.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I gotta find that TV.
What about you?
You need a time machine.
I'm gonna go with the Purple Angels. Looks too hard. For some reason, the Rockies red looks a little demonic.
I'd almost like wear that. No, I'd never wear that.
I don't think you'd wear anything Angels.
No.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I go Purple Angels.
Nice.
It seems like we've used the Angels twice, and the Angels have won both times. Seems like when you put a new color on the Angels, it just looks better.
Any other color works besides what
it
we've
just
been
looks
using.
less like losing.
Yes, it looks less bland.
Yeah.
No, I just mean like the red you associate with losses. So a different color.
You're not
seems
wrong.
More winning.
The one we did with Ty Guy, we swapped it with the Dodgers, so it was a blue A with a red halo.
Oh, okay. That would look better too. More like winning.
Speaking of Ty Guy, this is the one he wanted he suggested: the Twins and the Diamondbacks.
Oh, that doesn't look different enough. That's already fairly similar to what they are anyway.
I would say,
for me, I say Diamondbacks.
I say Twins looks better. I just like that kind of teal color there.
I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks on that one.
Okay.
I think it's a little cleaner. The teal, it doesn't work with the red.
Is there a better color to call that color? Like, is that teal? What would you call that? Turquoise?
I was gonna say turquoise, but
I'd say like an aqua.
Aqua.
If you want to go like Crayola.
Marine, maybe.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure the Diamondbacks have like a name for that color.
Right.
Like I don't know. I'm sure like because the Cardinals, I'm sure they call it Cardinal Red, probably.
Right.
And then the last one is one I just wanted to pick. This is the Pirates and the Guardians.
Whoa, Pirates. I think I like Pirates better. Or maybe I just generally like the Pirates logo better than the Guardians' boring logo. And maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the colors, but I just like the Pirates logo better, especially with that pirate.
it kind of looks like it looks like OCC's like
That's a
Pirates
local
baseball
college,
team thing.
by the way.
Okay. I
local
go
college
Pirates.
around
Yeah. I like the Guardians. I don't know.
I like the Guardians if they use like gold unis, because that'd have to be it.
Yeah.
That looks honestly really sick. I do like the Guardians. It's a little boring, I ain't gonna lie, but the gold looks a lot like really clean.
I just still can't get used to the name Guardians.
Yeah.
It's going to take me another 33 years or so.
But then they're gonna have another name.
Yeah, 2057, I'm like on board.
They're gonna be like the Cleveland Cars.
The cars. Well, when across our bridges there were guarded cars. And we'll pass it on to you, Bobby, to name two teams for our next episode that you'd like to see color swapped.
Yeah, let's swap the man, oh man, the Blue Jays with the
Giants, maybe?
yes,
Yeah.
Giants.
Yeah.
There we
Ooh,
go.
that'd be
That's
a nice
good.
one.
That's
Okay.
good. The orange Blue Jay logo. That would look weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Good idea. Yes.
All right. And that's everything we have. And Bobby, thank you for joining
No
us
problem.
and
Thanks
talking
for
about
having
the
me.
World Series
Thank you
88
very much.
and
Freddie
24.
Freeman, I love you. I love you, Freddie Freeman. Thank you. 32 of my buddies were there. You made it all worth it times 20. Thank you, Freddie Freeman.
If you are at the end of this, remember we post the audio on Spotify and Apple at 7 a.m. every Thursday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the video is up on YouTube 7 a.m. day after Friday. So make sure you have the notification bell on, like, comment, subscribe.
Day after Friday?
Day after Thursday, excuse me. Friday, the day that comes after Thursday.
Yes, there you go. You got it now. All right. That is all. See you in episode 92.